You are tuned in to the Gift of Gab podcast, a podcast where we are intentionally growing, accepting, and becoming the best version of ourselves. We focus on all things healing, wellness, spirituality, self-development, and bettering our relationship with ourselves and others. In every episode, we'll be reflecting on lessons learned through past experiences, setting goals, and helping each other reach our fullest potential. I am your host, Gabrielle Ariana, and welcome to this week's episode. Welcome back, you guys, to another episode. I feel amazing. I feel blessed and blissful and just loved. I feel warm. How are y'all feeling today? I hope that y'all practice y'all gratitude today. And I'm hoping you're having a great day, great month, a great year, a great season, chapter. Whatever it is that you're calling it right now in this time period of your life, I hope it's amazing, it's great, it's blissful. And then, it's one for the books, So today I want to talk about being selfless and also just kind of tying that into pouring into your own cup. Y'all, when I tell you, I've had a journey when it came to just really figuring out what does it really mean to be selfless. And because I'm really big on definitions and things like that, I actually took the liberty of actually Googling it. And so Google says the definition of selfless is basically concerned more with the needs and wishes of others than with one's own self. With one's own. They said that weird. But basically, you're very considerate and concerned more of everyone else outside of you than you are with your own self. And, that was pretty much my life for 25 years. It's crazy because I'm 26 now. It only took me 25 years to realize how important it is to pour into your own cup, right? Crazy, because, I feel like a little bit society kind of also projects this whole be a servicer or servicing of other people, I should say. And it's important to care for other people because it is 100%. Like that's literally been like my life. Like I love helping other people. I'm very, very considerate of other people, their emotions and feelings and how things may affect them, well before my own, how things can affect me and my emotions and things like that. But I've learned after this journey in that previous season that I was in of realizing, in order to really be selfless and really be someone that can pour into other people in a way that doesn't wear you thin, to where you're not falling short and you're not getting the short end of the stick and you're not always being the giver and not a taker or a receiver, you have to be a little bit selfish first. And I know it's a contradicting statement. However, let's dive in about it. Let's really dissect it. I also took the liberty of searching the definition of the word selfish. And it's obviously opposite of what selfless means. It says lacking consideration for others, concerned chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. Crazy, interesting, right? Obviously complete opposites. Selfish, you're just really self-absorbed. You're worried about your own needs and how things are going to benefit you, not anyone else around you. Forget what they feel, forget how it's going to affect them. All I care about is how it's going to benefit and affect me. But I say this and I'm going to keep saying this until y'all, whoever listening, if it resonates, really understands and gets in your head that perception is very important. So it's not only what you do, but it's also how you do it. It's also how you go about things, right? So when I say you have to be selfish before you can be selfless, I am simply saying, in my own definition of it, is that you have to pour into yourself first and give everyone else the overflow. That's it. you make sure your cup is full. And whatever is sleeping over of that cup into that little bowl that your cup is sitting in, whatever dripped over into that little bowl is what you then pour into the next person. If at any moment that bowl is empty and your cup is not all the way to the top of the rim, then that means nope. Get yourself together first. Make sure you on 100, because there is no going on E for nobody else. And this is coming from someone who has gone on E numerous of times for any and everyone. The limit didn't exist. The parameters was not there. I didn't have to know you, because I care so much about other people, and I've always, just loved helping other people and being there for other people. Like that's been who I am. And it's crazy because it really rooted from this quote. So there's a saying, be the change you wish to see in the world. And it's crazy. I took a little twist with the little quote, and I've even extended it by saying, be the person you wish you had growing up to others, right? So somewhere there's some type of person that, well, I guess it depends on the type of childhood or life you lived. For myself, however, I didn't really, have people to look up to. I didn't have much people to depend on that I can depend on or I can go to for certain things. And I had a lot of questions, a lot of things I didn't know about that I had to figure out it all on my own, or I just didn't know about it at all until, the time came in life to where I can experience it. And then I'm like, oh, that's what this means. Okay, cool. Great. Trial and error, trying to figure it all out. Or just not even having someone, like if I needed something to go to. So I really instilled into my own self and my own mindset of ways of which manifested how I was with other people was, I'm going to make it my goal to be the person that I wish I had growing up to other people. And that it changed throughout depending on the person and what they may have needed. So if I came encounter someone who needed advice about something, I would make sure I was that person to provide them some type of advice. Of course, do with the advice as you see fit and how it's going to apply to you in your life. However, I can only tell you, my perception of how I perceive something. Or if they needed someone to just listen to them, I would be that person to listen. People would trauma dump on me all the time. Literally. Everyone would call me. I was like a therapist friend, but it wasn't really friendship. It was more so like, oh, I know I can call Gabby and tell her all my issues and my problems. She's going to listen to me. She's going to see me. She's going to hear me, feel me. She'll probably provide some insight or, make me feel better in some capacity. That's because I wish I had that when I was younger. I never had that growing up. So I was that for everyone else. And when I tell you it changed, like it would morph into different type of ways. Like if someone needed something, it was crazy because when I was in like high school or even college, actually in my college days, if someone needed something, almost always, oh, Gabby has it, or if she don't have it, she has something similar to it. Or baby, I will go as far as, hell, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna figure out how we can get it done. Like I'm very much solution driven. So a lot of people come to me for solutions. And that's also because I made myself that person. Because again, I don't, regret anything out of life. Like that type of person me. That's still who I am at core. I love helping people. I love trying to solve problems. Like that's who I am. However, I've learned that I have to have some type of parameters in ways in which I do it. So it's not, what I'm doing, but also how I go about doing it. And I realized that because I made this like my identity almost of always being the person that I wish I had growing up, it really transformed into me being someone who was very selfless and very much more concerned with the needs of other people and not thinking about anything that I needed ever. Because while I was still being someone that I wish I had growing up, that person may need in whatever it looked like for that person specifically, depending on the person or the situation, it results in that person receiving something or whatever it was, right, that I could provide to them or give them or just be a listening ear to. But then reflecting on it now, I'm like, damn, Gabby, you still don't have the person you wish you had growing up in your life, even as an adult. So it's like, you're still going without something. And it's like, I learned, like, yeah, be the person you wish you had growing up. Be selfless. But in order for me to really be selfless and really like help people the way it's just ingrained in me to do, I have to I gotta put me first, Lucius. I have to make sure that I'm okay first. I have to make sure that my cup is full and everyone else is only getting the overflow. When I tell you that my cup would be empty, but there's still water in that bowl that my cup was sitting in, and I would still somehow use that water and pour into everyone else while I'm crying tears, filling up my cup. I'm filling my cup up with the tears that I'm crying because I still don't have that person that I wish I had. I'm still not receiving the type of, things that I want to experience out of life, or relationships that I know that is reciprocal towards me and it's actually benefiting me in some way. Like, yeah, it's great to be someone who helps other people. However, help yourself first, because when you're on the plane, you have to put your mask on first and then help the person next to you put their mask on. It's not the other way around. You don't help them first and then try to put yours on. You're going to be left for dead. That's not how it works. And I just, got to this place of realizing, like, Gabby, you have to really pour on yourself. And you have to make sure you're good. And make sure you feel good and that you actually can give to someone. And I also learned with that was that it's nothing wrong with doing things for other people. It's nothing wrong with being selfless and helping others. And it's also not wrong with people who are a little bit selfish, because now I'm realizing, like, maybe I should have been a little bit more selfish with myself. Truly, a little bit more selfish, not allowing too many people have access to me, not allowing everybody to just look at me as some type of solution and some resource, and that's it and that's all, and not as a person with feelings that need things. And so reevaluate how you are towards other people and your relationships with them, because I was being someone that I wish I had grown up to a lot of people. And because I was doing that, that was really the dynamic of the relationships. But I was over here like calling it something different. Like, oh, this is my friend. But they weren't really treating me like a friend, because that's how I am with my friends. And that's how I am with just people in general. I like to help people. And I like to, not even that, I like to do it, but it's also just who I am in my core, is to be considerate of other people. And that's just how I am. But I wasn't considerate of my own self. I wasn't considerate of my own feelings. I wasn't considering nothing. Like, I would go broke for people. And I use that word lightly now, because beforehand I would use the term broke as in I'm broke, I have no money. No. But when I say broke, I mean broken. I would feel very broken in the process of putting the pieces together for somebody else so that they can feel whole and full. That was a metaphor. That was a pretty good metaphor. But, I think it's very important to do self-maintenance, whether that's spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, and really, really make sure that you have all that you need and want before you go providing anything to anyone else. Because at the end of the day, people are going to do what's best for them, just like you're going to do what's best for you, right? So you do what's best for you first, because that's what they're going to do. And make sure you're good and you're okay first. Because if I'm running on E and I'm on the break of a mental breakdown, I can't help anybody else if my mental's not in check. I can't be 100% there for people and support people and love on them the way that I know I can and want to and that they're deserving of, if I am still lacking that love and support within myself and from other people. Because that's when you don't have a stern foundation of creating parameters between what this relationship is versus what this relationship is, because there's a good chance that as someone who naturally likes to help other people and servicing other people, you're gonna find yourself in a lot of relationships with different types of people and you have to curate a parameter of like, this relationship is this, and it's strictly I help you and you get whatever you get out of it type of situation, and that's fine, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with helping other people, like, at all. I feel like as people, that's what we're here to do, is be there for each other, is to help each other and to lean on each other, because community is important. But you don't want to lose yourself in the process. You don't want to lose your sanity in the process. You don't. You shouldn't be wearing yourself thin and lacking in the process. Make sure your cup is full, and you can only provide other people the overflow if you choose to provide it to them, because you don't have to. And I learned that too. I don't have to always be there for every single person and be a solution to every single thing, because that can also, again, put you in a place of being a solution for everything and everyone. And they look at you as a solution, but calling it something different. But really, that's been the dynamic, right? You created that foundation. Now you got to stand on it. You made the bed, lay in it. So you can also stump someone else's growth by always being someone who fixes their own problems and things like that. And that's what I was for a lot of people. Like, I would always be the one to try to create a solution, try to find something or do something different to make it better. And that person's just sitting back chilling and cool. They just living life. And I'm over here in shambles because of whatever they got going on, trying to figure out how I can make it better or do something different, right? I'm being very considerate of what they need in that moment, but they're not even as considerate for what they need in that moment. But I'm more considerate than they are. It's great. And it's like, because people know, like, Gabby's going to figure it out, or she's going to fix it, or she's going to, try to do something different to make the situation better, so I don't have to worry too much. Be careful and be mindful of who you pour into, because sometimes people are only wanting you to pour into them so they don't have to pour into them own selves, so they don't have to do the work themselves. I would never put the type of responsibility on anybody else, honestly. It only starts with myself, And when I realized that I wasn't really pouring into me, I wasn't really valuing me, I wasn't really seeing myself and hearing me and knowing, like, I really do deserve so much more, and I need to not be in such one-sided relationships all the time with every single person. I can still be selfless and help others and be considering of other people and their feelings and things, while still considering mine first. It's not only what you do, it's also how you do it and how you go about it, your intentions, and the way you maneuver matters. And you want to do it in a way where you don't feel depleted, you don't feel like you're lacking or you're losing in the situation ever, because that can also cause resentment towards other people or towards yourself. So you have to be selfish before you can be selfless. You have to care for yourself first before you go caring about everybody else and what they have going on. Because one, you can't help anyone else when you haven't even helped yourself first. And once you wear yourself so thin to the point where you can't even give, but you're still trying to give, conjure up solutions and resources and things for other people, but you're not even thinking about doing it for yourself because you just know you're so strong and you can handle it. I just get told all the time, like, oh my gosh, Gabby, you do so well, and you look so confident, and you have it all together, It's because I wear it well. I wear it very well, a little bit too well, to the point where people think that I don't ever have anything going on. Like, I don't have any bad days, right? And even if I do, no one has to lend a hand, because I'm going to figure it out. I know she's going to figure it out because she's going to figure it out for me and 50 million other people all the time. So you also have to be careful of the narrative you're feeding other people when you allow yourself to be collateral damage on how willing you are to help other people and be there for other people and pour into other people and, essentially love on other people. You don't want to be the collateral damage of your own love and, the way you care and the way that you show that you care and the way you show up for other people. You want to make sure that you are both receiving pleasure, even if it's that pleasure within yourself and not to the person. Not saying that you have to benefit from that person providing you something or some capacity, but just knowing that, oh, if I do this thing, or if I show up for this person, or whatever, the case may be, I know when I do it, I'm not lacking or losing in the situation. It's gonna always, always, always be a win-win situation. Always. And that's what you want it to be. That's what you need it to be. A win-win situation at all times. And challenge everyone to reflect on, are there areas in your life where you can be a little bit more selfish with yourself? Have you been pouring a little bit too much in everyone else's cup? And maybe your cup is, it's getting a little bit down. It's not even halfway full. And how do you physically rejuvenate yourself so that you can recharge your cup? For me, it is affirmations. Affirming myself is listening to music that just make me feel good. Actually getting outside in the sun. Like, I love to sit outside in the sun and just literally be in the sun. The sun is so important, y'all, especially as melanated people. It's honoring my solitude and not feeling so pressured to respond to people, through text message or phone calls and stuff like that. If I know that I need time to myself, or I just simply don't want to socialize, then I'm not going to force myself to do so. I used to force myself in a lot of social encounters and, going out when I know I didn't want to go out, or just being in an environment that I know is I don't want to do this. I don't even do this, and things like that. Always answering the phone call, always responding to text messages. Until I realized, I don't have to be readily accessible and available at all times. I can honor the moments and space where I just want to just not communicate, and obviously communicate to people I'm not in a space of communicating right now, or talking or socializing. And yeah, it's really just reevaluating, what do I want and need right now in whatever moment, and giving that to myself, and just honoring me at all times, and taking a pause before I go deciding to just pour into someone else, making sure I'm okay, making sure I'm good. So how can you really honor yourself, and how can you show up for yourself in ways that you have showed up for other people but you haven't done for yourself, right? So that's something that I had to learn as well. I would show up for other people and not show up for myself. I would go all out for other people and really instill into them life and love, and say, I believe you can do all these things, but not do that for myself. Barely, believe it for myself. So I started to really listen to myself, honor my emotions, pour into myself, and however that looked in that time or space, that's what I allow it to be. So that's this episode, y'all. Be selfish before you can be selfless. Pour into yourself, make sure you're good, and make sure you have all that you need. That's it. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gift of Gab podcast. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at @thegiftofgab_pod. I will speak to you all next week. Thank you guys so much. Continue to grow, accept, and become someone greater than you are now.